By-elections in Western Kenya. A test for Kenya's democracy. On Thursday, November 27, 2025, several by-elections took place across the country, including in parts of Western Kenya. According to observers and reporting, the mini-polls were marked by three major and deeply troubling trends: voter apathy, violence, and bribery, raising questions about the integrity of the process and the future of free elections in Kenya. Nation Africa +2 The online Kenyan +2. Voter apathy and low turnout. In constituencies such as Malava constituency, Kasipul constituency and Agunja constituency, voter turnout was unusually low, a phenomenon attributed to widespread apathy among the electorate. Observers say this apathy reflects a growing disillusionment among Kenyans, especially as repeated elections have offered little visible improvement in governance or everyday life. For a democracy to thrive, high, engaged voter participation is essential, and this slump in turnout paints a worrying picture for future polls. Violence, intimidation, and chaos at polling stations. Election day was not peaceful. In several hotspots, including in Malava, Kasipul, and other constituencies under contest, clashes between rival supporters, attacks on candidates and party agents, and property damage marred what should have been a democratic exercise. In one case, a vehicle reportedly belonging to a party leader was torched. In others, supporters alleged intimidation and threats. Political leaders and civil society voices decried the incidents. Kenya National Commission on Human Rights (KNCHR) called the violence unacceptable, urging immediate investigation and accountability. Meanwhile, some politicians warned that the violence suggested the by-elections were becoming a dress rehearsal for 2027, a foreshadowing of deeper risks for the country's democratic stability. Bribery, vote buying, and abuse of power. Beyond violence, bribery and misuse of state resources reportedly marred the campaign environment. In the lead-up to the polls, and on election day itself, there were allegations that some candidates or their agents offered cash inducements to voters in exchange for support. Critics say this undermines the fairness of the election, distorts choice, and erodes public trust. Some also flagged the involvement of state actors, including local officials drawn into partisan mobilization, which violates both the spirit and the letter of democratic norms. What this means for Kenya's democracy. These by-elections were more than just local contests. Many saw them as a litmus test for the country's readiness for the upcoming 2027 elections. The combination of low turnout, violence, and bribery raises serious concerns. Declining public faith. Voter apathy suggests many Kenyans feel disengaged, possibly unconvinced their votes make a difference. Erosion of electoral norms. The prevalence of violence and bribery threatens the fundamentals of free, fair elections. Need for accountability. Institutions tasked with safeguarding elections, including security forces, the Electoral Commission, and oversight bodies, must act to restore confidence. Democratic risk if unchecked. If such patterns persist, future elections may deepen mistrust, discourage participation, and possibly worsen divisions. Calls for reform and hope for the future. In response to the turmoil, several civil society groups and prominent public figures have called for swift action, thorough investigations into violence and bribery, accountability for those misusing state power, and renewed efforts at voter education to rebuild trust. For Kenya's democracy to survive and mature, it's not enough to hold elections. They must be free, fair, and worthy of the people's trust. These by-elections are a wake-up call.